You have no murder weapon. You have nothing. And all these stories we've been telling each other, just that. Stories.
My name is Steve Morrow. I'm a private investigator and I'm the owner of Morrow Detective Agency located in Simi Valley, California. Private investigator is one who is hired by either the public or by attorneys to go out and help folks figure out whatever their problems are. It can be anything from cheating spouses to children that have absconded, people that have been wrongfully charged of crimes. Whatever it is, we're the people that you call in order to try to help you figure out what the problem is and hopefully get you a resolution to it. From my understanding, this particular game is about looking through footage and seeing where the evidence and where the statements that people make will lead you. I've worked similar cases. One comes to mind of a case that had to do with armed robbery. I looked through 50 hours of footage to see whether or not my client had a gun. My strategy for this particular game is to be as attentive as possible. I'm also going to see if people's facial features are giving, their expressions are giving anything away. I will be taking notes here. Let's see how it goes. The whole game is about me searching terms, and it looks like there's a term of murder for me to look into, so let's see where this takes us. Okay, I'm looking at 4 videos of murder. Let's go ahead and click on the first one and see what happens.
You think it's murder? I mean, clearly it's murder. What can I do to help?
And this is 6/27, 1994.
Yeah, that's me. But February, that was months ago. What's that got to do with Simon's murder?
Now the first clip was that I saw, maybe I'm going in the wrong order here, was June 27, 1994, and now I'm looking at January 7th, 1994. So I wrote Simon, February 1994, or at least this particular interrogation had taken place on January 7th, 1994. So the sequence is a little bit off.
I didn't murder Simon. You've got it wrong. You've got the wrong person.
She said she didn't murder Simon.
I'd like to speak to a lawyer now. Please. You have no murder weapon. You have nothing. And all these stories we've been telling each other, just that. Stories.
So she's saying that they have nothing on her. So I think I'm gonna try the victim. Let's try Simon. Well, it brought up some new videos.
Simon Smith. He works at Ernst Brothers Glass. They do windows, all kinds of glass. Simon does the more special work. Mirror making, feature windows, artistic things, really beautiful things. Simon is 6 foot, darkish blonde hair, average build. He's clean shaven. If his beard grows, it goes ginger, so he shaves it. I mean, not that there's anything wrong with ginger hair. And bought a photo. They said a spring photo. This was taken last year on holiday in Rome. It's the best one I have. It's the Rockington Arms, the Rock. It's run by a nice couple, Peter and Susan. There's some other regulars there that Simon likes to drink with, and the barmaid they're having sometimes, Helen. Peter said Simon had been in and had a few drinks.
Peter. They went to the Rockingham Arms, they call it the Rock, to get some drinks. I guess Peter was there and Helen was there as well.
Yes, there's an Amstrad one. No one uses it for very much. There's a printer so you can write letters on it. Simon sometimes plays games, climb the tower, save the princess, that kind of thing. Simon isn't the type to run off or do anything crazy. Someone must have done something to him, or There must have been some kind of accident. So what do we do next?
All right, we're gonna try a different keyword here. Peter. Peter's only bringing us up to say clip.
No. I think he spoke to Helen. She said he was upset about her argument, but I'm not sure what else he said.
Argument.
He likes Helen. He likes blondes.
What the argument was about.
So, it was Friday evening. We had an argument. He left. On Saturday, he didn't come back. I waited all day. He was supposed to go help Eric out with something on the Saturday afternoon. They had a job. He didn't show. So Eric was ringing on the phone. I checked at the Rock, that's our local. They said they'd seen him on the Friday night, but not since. He still wasn't back this morning. It just isn't like him at all. Still not back by dinner time. It's getting dark again. So I decided to come and see you. His parents haven't heard anything either. There's married couple stuff. A stupid argument, nothing specific. No one knows how to push your buttons better than those you're close to.
They need to get more out of her.
I mean, yes, we have arguments, but he never runs off. He always comes back. We make up. It's always that way.
Still not getting much about what the argument was about.
Yes. He left after the argument. It was about 8 o'clock.
She has bruising on her face.
Oh, God, I don't know. I mean, I guess the Rock. We've spoken to everyone there. Someone must have seen where he went. I don't know. So many things could have gone wrong. No one has been in the last few weeks. We had a plumber come in 3-4 weeks ago. Someone knew from the Rock.
So far, clearly the argument is, a big part of why he had taken off. He supposedly confided in, or Eric was good friends with him, so trying to figure out if he had talked to Eric. So far she has mentioned that Simon likes blonde, so I'm wondering if the argument is going to end up having something to do with, his infatuation with Helen, the blonde.
He was wearing a shirt. It's a blue turtleneck shirt and jeans. He has a watch. It's a really nice one. That was a gift from his boss, Eric.
It's his boss.
He had his coat, a long grey duffel coat, like Paddington Bear. He would have taken that with him. It's not in the house.
Well, Eric is his boss.
Yes, there's a car that we share, a Cavalier, and a van he uses for work. It's owned by Eric, but we look after it. Both of them are there now, parked in the street. I'm not sure about the keys for the van. I can look for you when I get back.
Okay, so they have 2 vehicles, a Cavalier car that belongs to the company and a van that belongs to them.
Yes, that would be in his wallet. It's a Visa, a silver one. He doesn't like to spend money he doesn't have, so he usually pays with cash, but Eric convinced him to get one. Eric was like an uncle to him. They were pretty close. They spend a lot of time with each other, especially when they have to go to conferences. Have you met his wife, Diane?
Eric's wife's name is Diane. There we go.
An affair. Simon wasn't having an affair. You're reaching here. Oh, I don't know why. No, I've never cheated on anyone. I've never taken anything from anyone. Simon is dead. But I have my baby to care for. Why are you trying to make me sad? Why are you so obsessed with sex and affairs?
It's not coming off as genuine, is it?
You cheated on your wife. Is this your thing?
She was trying to cast aside any suspicions of her cheating, and then she tried to throw it back on whoever the interrogator was by trying to say that they were possibly a cheater. And that's the reason why they were pursuing that particular line of questioning. So, I mean, it's telling. You know, she seemed disingenuous. She didn't seem like she was very forthcoming. If you notice, she wasn't even really looking at the interviewer too much at certain points. She was looking down at the table. It's starting to look, you know, an affair of some sort may be a big portion of what's going on here. Who saw Simon last, and where did they find Simon now that he's been confirmed dead?
What did your wife do? She didn't kill you. You think I killed Simon because he was having an affair? Well, I didn't kill him. I wasn't even there. I was in Glasgow worrying about whether my baby was still growing inside me. I mean, why would I kill Simon? I loved him. The bruise. I have a really fast metabolism, so stuff like that just comes and goes. I don't know if there's much more that I can tell you that I haven't already told the other policemen. I found the body. It happened very quickly. We hardly had to talk to each other. We agreed almost silently. The baby was what mattered. We'd help each other. We cleaned up. We bagged up the broken mirror, her clothes. They're gone. We took him down to the cellar. We knew we had an alibi, and we wanted the body to be found later. We wanted to have suspicion on us, so we could then disprove it, rather than have it linger. Better to keep the body in the house than risk being seen with it. The watch, that was my touch, to make sure the alibi stuck.
Okay, so now we've skipped to an ending part where she's pretty much acknowledging that she had something to do with the murder of Simon. But the interesting thing now is that she's dropping that there's a we. So she's being helped by somebody. So now we gotta figure out who the we is. And clearly the baby is a big thing that she's, you know, interested in protecting and wanting to make sure that she's able to stay in the baby's life. And then they keep referring to the watch. She's saying that the watch is a finishing touch on something that she had to do with. So I think we're gonna look at a few different keywords here. Let's try alibi. And we know it had that one video for sure. No, that's all it brought us. Let's try watch.
I guess you could call it that, but we were both happy to get married. It was a beautiful wedding. We had our first dance to Come Back and Stay. I'm not sure if that's a good wedding song, but I loved it. I chose it. I mean, it was genuinely our first dance. We'd never danced together before. It was probably awful to watch, but I enjoyed it. It felt like it was just me and Simon for that moment. Just the two of us. Yeah. That's Simon's watch. It was a gift from Eric. He got it this year.
Eric.
It was a wedding anniversary gift. Steel. It would have been Diane who chose it. She has really nice taste. That time, you must eliminate me. I was in Glasgow then.
And there we go with the touch with the watch. She's trying to use the watch as the alibi, saying I guess it stopped at a particular time, which indicated that there was a time she wanted to stop at. Declare.
Yes.
Let's see.
We'd fight. We fought on the beach once and I held Eve's head underwater. There was no one else around. It was at the far end of the beach. And I held her head under and I kept it under. And for a moment, I just wanted to kill her and watch her drown. But that was it. It was just a moment. We made up afterwards. It was a love-hate relationship.
So who is Eve? You know, she just gave us another person, and she basically confessed to almost committing a murder against Eve, whoever Eve is, by almost drowning her. I definitely think that that's a particular person of interest. Let's see what else we can find out about Eve. All right, we have several clips about Eve.
Well, my friend Eve. I mean, she was a friend from when I was a kid. And she was always more popular with the boys, and I used to hate her for it. I mean, really hate her sometimes.
So Eve was popular with the boys and you were jealous.
A police station. Yeah. When I was young, we ran away on my birthday. Bob Dylan was playing in London, and we thought we could break into his tour bus and have him take us with him. The taxi driver we paid to drop us off, I mean, we'd saved money, pinched a bit here and there to pay for the fare. He was suspicious because we were so young, so he told the police. So they came and picked us up and took me back to Portsmouth. My mum picked me up from the station. But I blamed everything on my friend Eve. So my parents let me off. What are you doing talking about Eve?
She was left in the interrogation room by herself, and it looks like she knows that she somehow put a foot in her mouth by talking about Eve, so now it looks like she's somewhat distressed about that. And she said Hannah, 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 which I don't know if Hannah is her, which I'm presuming because it seems like she was accosting herself. We're definitely coming on something.
My mother called me Eve.
Oh, her mother called her Eve. So now I'm wondering, does she have split personalities now? And maybe the we is her and Eve, or maybe some other personality. So now I'm curious. We're gonna plug in Hannah. Eve is looking like it may be whoever this particular individual is. We don't even know her name yet. So let's see who Hannah is. See if we get.
My name is Hannah. H-A-N-N-A-H.
Okay.
It's Pandre. It reads the same backwards as forwards. It doesn't work if you mirror it though. It's not quite symmetrical, but well, I mean, you get the idea.
Okay.
Sorry. Hannah Smith. I live at 31 Gladstone Street.
She's Hannah, and she's Eve.
Yes. My name is Hannah Smith. Oh. Sorry. Across the road, where my parents first lived there, was a midwife called Florence. When Hannah was born, I was born at the same time. The midwife was there to help. I'd been throttled by the cord, probably wrapped around my neck by Hannah. The midwife told my mother I was dead. But I wasn't. She wrote all this stuff in a diary. Amazing what people will admit to on paper. She recognized me from the window. She told me to come inside, and she hid me. They had made the attic into a place where Hannah could play. There was a dollhouse. She hid me up there. No one else ever went into the attic. It was her place.
Okay. So we've confirmed that both Hannah and Eve clearly are the same people, same person. She's referred to herself as Eve, and she's also referred to herself as Hannah, both born in the same day. Maybe she was a twin and lost one, and maybe that personality stuck with her. I'm curious to see, where this is gonna go. She said she confessed everything in the diary. I'm wondering if they found the diary. There we go.
No, he doesn't keep a diary. That's my thing. I've kept one, well, as long as I can remember, since I was a girl. It helps make sense of my day. And when you're forced to put something into words, it just gives you perspective. Everyone's on the same page. Florence was a warm, kind person.
Florence again.
But she was broken, I guess. When I found her diary, I also found a biscuit tin with other stuff in it. Older papers, letters, that kind of thing. Her story wasn't there. I never really spoke to her about it. I was far too young to really understand, I guess. I just put it together later, once I was older. She had loved children, planned to have a large family, but her husband died in the war. And that was back when you married for life. She never felt like she could marry again. Isn't that strange? She was a widow from her 20s. But, I guess it was different then. You married for life and she felt she could never marry again. I guess it was harder, a war widow. One of the dead. I don't know, maybe there was more to it than that. I don't really know. When I was 8, Mother died. She slipped down the stairs. It was an accident. I had read a diary at that point and I knew she wasn't my real mother. So I burned the diary that day and I left. Walked out and across the street.
She has a lot of death that's happened around her, hasn't she? Her mother died.
It just became our way of life. We would swap places and take it in turns to do things. And we were very careful. Whoever had been out that day would come back and write a detailed diary so that we were on the same page. We had a list of rules that said what we could and couldn't do in any given situation. It was exhaustive. We lived a second life through those rules. Rules for things that could only ever happen inside our imaginations. We would consider all the permutations of future events and agree rules to walk our way through them.
Still those references to we.
Yes. I inherited it from my parents, so it made sense to move back. Me and Simon. Felt like going back to old ways before the pregnancy. Reminded me of being a girl, the dollhouse in the attic, old things. We didn't sleep in my parents' bedroom for a long time. We decorated it as soon as we moved in, but it was another year before we started sleeping there. Yes, I read a lot as a child and watched lots of TV. Then the doll's house we had, we still have in the attic. It's kind of a fairy castle. We used to play up there and make up our own stories.
I don't know if I put this in already. I'm hoping that some of these keywords will lead me back to the fight, like we're seeing bruise, and I'm hoping from there it'll lead me back to maybe which particular personality had a problem.
Bruce? Oh yeah, no, it's nothing. I was going through the top cupboard in my kitchen and the chair slipped and I kind of hit the door with my face. We hurt like hell. If one of us got hurt, the other one would have to be hurt too. A grazed knee, a bruise. When I lost my tooth first, we had to pull out Hannah's to match. Once, I slept with a boy who was seeing another girl. The girlfriend came up to Hannah the next day and punched her in the face, gave her a huge black eye. That night, she had to do the same to me. But she almost went too far. I couldn't see out of that eye for days. She snuck a frozen piece up for me from the kitchen. So much of our bodies were synchronized anyway. We started our period on the same day, all our childhood diseases, stomach bugs, nits. Differences? She's a better driver than me. She passed the test for us. I tried to take it and nearly crashed the car. Learned that you can't rely on confidence to get you through everything. She is the shy one. She was especially shy around boys. If Hannah liked a boy, I would have to pursue him. It was that way with Carl. Hannah met him first. She had such a crush. I let him take my virginity after a night that his band had played at. It got difficult. When I was with Carl, we would have sex, but Hannah couldn't let him see she was a virgin. She had lots of excuses. After a while, we decided that I should take Hannah's virginity. It's not that different to a bruise, pulling a tooth, a graze. We used a hairbrush. After that, we took it in turns, though I was always the one who seduced the boys. Until Simon. This was about 9. I went round and she was waiting for me. She was furious and so angry, the kind of anger you can only have towards yourself. We screamed at each other, argued, cried, we fought. I hit her back, left a bruise. I had my wig on from performing, she tore it off. Eventually, we grew tired of fighting and I left. It was after dinner. I had spoken to Sam's parents on the phone. I looked up for an early night and I suddenly had this thought. I think it was something his mum had said. She'd been speaking about old stuff, sad stuff, about when we lived there, about the baby. There's some boxes in the cellar, nursery stuff we never needed and I never had the heart to throw out. And I suddenly remembered that when I'd looked down there the week before, those boxes, that pile was in the wrong place. I went cold all over. I went down there with a torch and went straight to the back, and that's when I saw the bin bags. Pulled them open, saw the body. I screamed and that's when I called the police. His body, it did not real. And his throat, it looked like his throat had been cut. And I didn't see his glasses. There's these thick glasses. It doesn't always work.
So now we know how he was killed.
Really? Okay. Here's the rest. Oh, they laid a body on the dock tonight. Oh, the wind and the rain. Till a fiddler with a fiddle came walking by. Oh, the dreadful wind and rain. And he made a fiddle bow of her long hair. Oh, the wind and the rain. Yes, he made a fiddle bow of her long blonde hair. Oh, the dreadful wind and rain. And he made fiddle pegs of her finger bows. Oh, the wind and the rain. Yes, he made fiddle pegs from her finger bows. Oh, the dreadful wind and rain. And he made a fiddle out of her breastbone. Oh, the wind and rain. The sound could pierce a heart of stone. Oh, the dreadful wind and rain. But the only tune that the fiddle could play was oh, the wind and the rain. Yes, the only tune that the fiddle could play was oh, the dreadful wind and rain. Anything you sing may be used as evidence against you.
She was singing about bones, different bones, finger bones, collar bones, breast bones. So I'm wondering if that's some sort of admission to maybe a different crime. That's a little weird.
I tried to get pregnant too, but it didn't happen. I slept with so many boys, men. My body refused. I think my period stopped because hers had. I was pretty ill. I mean, how could we stay the same now? I felt like Hannah had really things up, set us down separate paths. We had become different.
So if she couldn't get pregnant, then baby, I mean, you know, now getting this information about her not having a baby definitely has left more questions than answers at this point. So let's see. Maybe that holds the key.
We spent the wedding night in a hotel in Brighton. It would have been too much to do more. We were saving for the baby. It was wonderful to be in a hotel, away from home, just alone together. Since then, we've always tried to get away for our holiday. We couldn't afford our own place. Simon dropped out of school, went full-time at the Glaziers. That was Eric's generosity. We moved in with his mum and dad. They had a spare room for us and the baby, if it came. It was a nice change, time to myself, living there for those months, full of hope. No, I lost the baby. I had a miscarriage at 8 months. We carried on living at Simon's parents until, well, it was only a few months after.
So she had a miscarriage.
Yes. It was a shock to him. I mean, we never thought it was possible. I don't know what I hadn't decided whether to keep the baby. I wasn't really ready to talk to him about it. Diane is really nice. She helps out with the Glaziers, organises the Christmas party, that sort of thing. They have 2 kids, really sweet kids. She used to look out for me when I worked there.
So she worked there too.
Not really. He would go to the pub. He had his drinking buddies there, but no one ever really came back to the house. Sometimes Eric, his boss, and his wife would come over for dinner. That would be us returning the favour. Diane is a really good cook, into her trendy ingredients. And the last time Simon cooked something off MasterChef, he got the recipe off CFAX, and I did my Lloyd Grossman bit, commenting from the sidelines. I had to find fennel from the supermarket. Have you ever eaten fennel? Simon and Eric arguing? No, I can't imagine they'd be arguing. And they get on so well. Unless it was something to do with work. Maybe Simon was being too much of a perfectionist. But I don't know. You should ask Diane.
At the very beginning, it seemed like their relationship was going okay. Moved in with mom and dad. You know, Simon had gotten a job with Eric. And maybe her personalities were kept at bay. Maybe the other one was happy. Clearly, you know, they managed to get pregnant somewhere along the lines of her debate to keep the baby and or not. She got a miscarriage. Now I'm wondering if that's when things changed. Trying to figure out if there was some sort of triangle that happened that maybe pushed Hannah or Eve, you know, off the ledge there. You know, we know that Simon was killed in his house. His throat was slit. We know that Hannah or Eve has taken efforts to try to make sure that they're not prosecuted for this particular crime. We've learned who did it. The why is still eluding us, and that's what I'm trying to figure out. So now we just got to figure out why. You know, why did this happen? What was the reason that Hannah and Eve decided to go and kill Simon?